The Haze case. Haze is a pollution problem that seems to affect us year after year. We know it isn't very pleasant and can recognize the burning smell almost immediately. Our throats and noses are affected, and sometimes we end up coughing or having difficulty breathing. The thick smog also clouds and chokes our skies, making it dull and gloomy. But exactly where does this haze come from, and how does it happen? It's time to stop clouding the facts and get some answers. Haze is the result of forest fires burning in neighboring countries. These fires are started by smallholder farmers and brokers committing illegal burning activities because of a need for land. Many residents of Riau depend on forestry activities to make a living. And with over 5 million residents and counting, there is an immense pressure for locals to clear land quickly and inexpensively. As a result, they often resort to illegal burning. The hot and dry season in the region also adds to this fiery issue. This season is brought about by a weather phenomenon called El Niño Southern Oscillation. The dry and hot weather causes fire to spark easily on dry vegetation in forested areas. Sometimes it takes a while for these fires to be noticed, as they are so deep in the forest, and by the time help comes, it cannot be easily put out or contained. But if these fires are started in another country, why does it bother us? This is because smoke from these fires is often carried by southwest monsoon winds into neighboring countries such as Singapore and Malaysia. When the haze crosses from one country to another, it is called transboundary haze pollution. This typically occurs between the months of June and September each year. The intensity, velocity, and direction of the southwest monsoon wind play a big part in determining how far the haze travels and how thick its fumes are. Now, surely something can be done to prevent future occurrences of haze pollution, right? In reality, it takes more than just one party to stop the haze crisis from reoccurring. It's a collaborative effort between the local authorities, communities, private sector corporations, and international agencies to help prevent the haze. Each stakeholder has a part to play in the efforts against haze. For example, local authorities in Indonesia need to more effectively enforce bans on illegal burning activities. ASEAN governments are coming together to develop strategic measures that will strengthen the region's capacity and capability to address and combat transboundary haze pollution. Private plantation companies operating in Riau also have a big part to play in continuously training and educating local farmers. New jobs can also be offered to improve living standards. This will reduce the need for local villagers to commit illegal burning activities. Large companies are also leading the way by offering their resources to firefighting efforts in Riau. All of these elements piece together to form a big picture perspective on how we can combat haze.
Let's talk about a beautiful land called Indonesia. Its vast forests were once inhabited by tigers, orangutans, and birds living in harmony with hundreds of thousands of people. Then slowly, the palm oil, pulp, and paper industries began to cut down the forests with bulldozers and chainsaws. They started building plantations, forcing the wildlife and people to migrate, or worse, stay there at great risk, while the industry made billions of dollars. palm oil companies began to realize that it would be cheaper and faster to burn the forest than to cut it down, so they started lighting fires. They also drained swamps and peatlands around the forests, turning them into tinderboxes. Pretty soon, the fires became a raging inferno, which went on for many days. In 2015, the forest fires created plumes of toxic smoke so vast that they could be seen from space. Scientists say that 69 million people were exposed to the toxic haze from the wildfires, which have killed over 100,000 people in Indonesia, Singapore, and Malaysia. The haze has also cost Indonesia over $16 billion, which is 2% of the nation's GDP and twice the cost of the 2004 tsunami. The toxic smog is made up of lots of tiny particles, the deadliest of which is called PM 2.5. This particulate matter measures 2.5 micrometers. They're so minute that they can invade the smallest airways in our lungs, even finding their way into our bloodstream, causing asthma, bronchitis, respiratory infection, hypertension, cardiac dysrhythmia, heart attacks, strokes, or even death. Children are especially vulnerable. Although the situation seems dire, there is hope. Thousands of activists in Indonesia and around the world have been fighting to stop the forest fires and deforestation. We call these heroes Haze Busters. You can join them by signing our petition, joining our movement, or just changing what you buy at the grocery store. Palm oil is in 50% of everything that people buy in the supermarket, so check your labels. We really hope that you'll join us in our campaign to end haze, bring justice to victims, and fight for people and the planet.